the U.S., I think it's a critical moment for them to
Well, IndusInd Bank has reported its numbers for the quarter. The net interest income has come in at 2,200 crores as compared to the number of 2,206 that we were working with. So broadly in line. The net profit, however, has come in much below expectations, 920 crores as opposed to an expectation of 1,083 crores. Let me just break up the details of the numbers to you and tell you what has led to that kind of a miss, because of which the stock is trading about 2% lower. The provisions for the quarter has shot up significantly from about 294 crores in the year ago quarter, 350 crores in the June ended quarter, to now 590 crores. That's a big hit that is coming in. On the other hand, the support from other income is also relatively lower. The other income has grown about 11% on a year-on-year basis, largely in line with what we were expecting, given that some growth in the fee income is expected to be sort of offset on account of the M2M losses. What they have essentially said, the gross NPA number has come down. It's improved from 1.15% to 1.09%. Loan growth is extremely solid at 32%, deposit growth at about 19-20 odd percent. 2 points that I want to mention. They have said that they have made a contingent provision of 275 crores towards exposure that they have in terms of loans that were given to an infrastructure sector company. I'm assuming this is ILNFS, so they have made a contingent provision of 275 crores, and that's the reason you are seeing that below estimate number as far as the net profit number is concerned. Otherwise, more or less numbers seem good and in line with conditions. Even with respect to their deal on acquiring ILNFS Securities and Services, they've said that the transaction closing is pending fulfillment of certain conditions by the counterparties. That will not have any implications for this quarter's numbers. But two key things with respect to ILNFS exposure disclosed. We do have with us online Payal Pandya, research analyst at Centrum Broking, who's joining us on the phone line. Payal, what's your first take on the numbers? What would you attribute this large miss to?
Shraddha, I think the numbers are largely good, and this miss in the net profit expectation is obviously because of the higher provisioning, which I don't think is a cause of concern, because they have made a contingent provision, which is obviously in line with, how if we assume that there might be some expected stress going ahead, which instead of, taking a hit on the P&L later on, they have been playing safe and they have just added up to the provisioning as of now. Which is a positive thing.
All right, fair enough. We also have Kajal Gandhi from ICICI Direct, who's joining us on the phone line. Kajal, your first thoughts on this ILNFS exposure and the overall numbers, your first read on the numbers?
So broadly, numbers on the operational front are in line with estimates. So it's just that we were expecting some higher provisions to come on account of the ILFS exposure, and which I think on a conservative basis they have done. So which looks a good thing from the management. On an overall basis, results look fairly decent.
All right, but Kajal, the loan growth number this time around has come in at 32%. This is at a multi-quarter high. At least in the last 8 quarters that I have, they haven't been able to grow at 32%. In the June-ended quarter, they had said that the CV disbursements had risen extremely sharply at about 40-odd%, if I remember the number correctly. What do you think would have led to this kind of a loan growth? Could there also be an element of refinancing in the corporate book side?
Yeah, I think that must be there, because in Q4 also they had participated in this, and even now also that can be possible. Also, there can be a possibility in last 10 days when there was liquidity crisis, banks may have disbursed slightly higher than they would have actually done. So it can also be possible some leg up has come from that. So that one has to see whether it is happening across.
Okay, let me come back to you, Payal. We don't have the net interest margin numbers for now, but 3.92% is what we had seen as the number in the June quarter. What were your expectations for the margin number?
The net interest margin may see maybe say 5 to 10 basis points contraction, but I don't think it should be a cause of concern.
Okay, Kajal, coming back to you, how are you reading these numbers, and what's your call on the stock at the current levels? It has been a underperformer in comparison to the bank Nifty over the last 1 month or so. So, what's your call on the stock at this point in time?
I think bank is slightly under consolidation from the perspective that there is a leadership change expected in a year's time, and that's why there may not be a very high rush. Also, the merger process is expected to come out immediately in next few months. So I think that may be one of the reasons where the bank is slightly languishing. On an overall basis, currently we have a buy rating, but we will have to gradually assess considering the new management.
All right, finally, Payal, your call on the stock at this point in time, and what are the key things that you're going to be watching out from the management press conference, which should start any time now?
I think we, on the fundamental side, of course, remain positive on IndusInd Bank because they have been delivering good set of numbers, and even now in this quarter, while the provisioning is high, it is only a cautionary. So in going ahead, of course, we want to more keenly look at the synergies that would be built up with IL&FS Securities and Bharat Financial coming into the bank.
All right, Kajal and Payal, thank you very much for joining us for your quick take on IndusInd Bank numbers. The stock has recovered just partially, a miss coming on the bottom line, but that's more to do with the contingent provision that they have made towards their exposure, possibly to IL&FS. 275 crores is the provision, but otherwise asset quality has improved sequentially, and we do have a very strong low growth momentum continuing for the stock. This is all that we have on IndusInd Bank. Stay tuned and we'll bring you more as soon as the press conference starts.